The Adventures of Pinocchio, another classic read-aloud story by retired Alaskan schoolteacher. That's me, Jeff Babcock. Okay, we began our story 6 days ago, and today I will read chapter 6. All right? Pinocchio by C. Collodi, translated from the Italian by Carol Della Cisa, illustrated beautifully by Attilio Musino. And the original book came out, again in Italy in 1911, came to the United States in 1925, and this reissue of the story was published in September of 1968 by Macmillan Publishing Company in New York and in London. Chapter 6. Pinocchio falls asleep with his feet on a foot warmer and awakens the next day with his feet all burned off. Can you imagine that? Ooh, the big storm, and ooh, what a rough night. Pinocchio hated the dark street, but he was so hungry that in spite of it, he ran out of the house. The night was pitch black. It thundered, and bright flashes of lightning now and again shot across the sky, turning it into a sea of fire. An angry wind blew cold and raised dense clouds of dust, while the trees shook and moaned in a weird way. Now, Pinocchio was greatly afraid of thunder and lightning, but the hunger he felt was far greater than his fear. In a dozen leaps and bounds, he came to the village, tired out, puffing like a whale, and with tongue hanging. The whole village was dark and deserted, and the stores were closed, the doors and the windows, and in the streets not even a dog could be seen. It seemed the village of the dead. Pinocchio, in desperation, he ran up to a doorway and threw himself upon the bell and pulled it wildly, saying to himself, "Oh, someone will surely answer that." And he was right. An old man in a nightcap opened the window and looked out, and he called down angrily, "What do you want at this hour of the night?" "Oh, well, will you be good enough to give me a bit of bread? I'm so hungry." Wait a minute, and I'll come right back," answered the old fellow, thinking he had to deal with one of those boys who love to roam around at night ringing people's bells while they are peacefully asleep. Well, after a minute or two, the same voice cried out, "Hey, get under the window and hold out your hat." Pinocchio had no hat, but he managed to get under the window just in time to feel a shower of ice cold water pour down on his wooden head, his shoulders, and all over his body. Well, he returned home as wet as a rag and tired out from weariness and hunger. And as he no longer had any strength left with which to stand, he sat on a little stool, and he put his 2 feet on the stove to dry them. And there he fell asleep. And while he slept, his wooden feet began to burn. Slowly, very slowly, they blackened and turned to ashes. And Pinocchio snored snored away happily as if his feet were not his own. Well, at dawn, he opened his eyes just as a loud knocking sounded at the door. "Ah, who is it?" he called, yawning and rubbing his eyes. "It is I," answered a voice. It was the voice of Geppetto. Okay, the next chapter, chapter 7, Geppetto returns home and gives his own breakfast to the marionette.